أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله عليه الصلاة والسلام. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالاً كثيراً ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيباً. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولاً سديداً يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزاً عظيماً. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم أما بعد. Critics against Islam argue that because there is pain and suffering on this earth, there cannot be a loving God that exists. Other critics argue that a life without commandments and prohibitions, a life without do's and don'ts, a life without the law would be a better life. Both of these arguments contradict science. There's a part of the brain called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, or known as the AMCC. This part of the brain, the AMCC, analyzes and helps us decide whether we should put in the hard work to complete a difficult task. Think of it as performing a cost-benefit analysis, that if you should do this difficult task or not, if you should complete it or not. Don't think of it as the part of your brain that weighs the pros and cons. Should I put in effort to complete this task, or should I just walk away? And they found that the bigger the AMCC is in a person's brain, the larger that this AMCC is in a person's brain, the stronger the willpower this person had. The bigger the AMCC was in this person's brain, they found the person to have greater tenacity. And so, when they studied obese people, they found that their AMCC was smaller. But the very same people, if they started to diet, their AMCC started to grow and get large. And so, the AMCC grows larger when people see themselves challenged, and then they overcome that challenge. I am now dieting. I can't eat what I wanted to eat. Even though I don't want to diet, I still am dieting. And then, when faced with this challenge and they overcome this challenge, their AMCC gets bigger. And they studied the AMCC of athletes, and they found that the AMCC, this part of the brain of the athletes, was larger, simply because they're constantly facing challenges, and they're constantly working hard to overcome these challenges. Then they discovered people in their 70s and in their 80s that they had retained their size of their AMCC, and some of them have actually made it larger. These people in their 70s and 80s who were able to retain the size of their AMCC or make it bigger, they found that they had the brain energy, the cognitive function, the brain function equal to people in their 20s and 30s. Amazing. So AMCC doesn't just generate willpower. The larger our AMCC gets, the more willpower we have, the more tenacious we become. Now they're discussing that probably the AMCC is not just generating willpower, but this is the very place, this is a seat for the will to live longer. As we find these 70 and 80-year-olds are able to have brain functions of those who are in their 20s and 30s. But let's be clear here. The AMCC is not activated. It doesn't start growing larger because you do a lot of tasks. The AMCC part of the brain doesn't get activated because you do the easy things. The AMCC gets activated, and this is the important part, because you do difficult things that you don't want to do. When you do the hard work that you naturally don't want to do, and you push through, and you face that challenge, and you overcome these challenges, your AMCC starts to grow. Islam builds our willpower. Islam increases our tenacity through making our AMCC larger. And today, I'll just give a few examples. That Fajr prayer, when you have to get up to pray, naturally, any human being or every human being naturally, initially, would prefer sleep than getting up for Fajr prayer. You don't want to do it. You don't want to get up and break your sleep. But when you do it, because it's fard, it's an obligation. When you do push through it, when you do overcome this challenge, you increase your willpower and tenacity. Ramadan. Initially, naturally, no one wants to give up food. If we had the opportunity, we would eat 24 hours a day, non-stop. But in Ramadan, we have to completely stop. Food, water, everything. Marital relations with our spouses, everything has to stop. But when we do what we don't want to do and push through and overcome those challenges, our AMCC gets bigger, our willpower grows. When we're at Taraweeh and you have the urge to bounce after 4 rak'ah and leave, you don't want to stand any longer. But then you hear the reward that if you stand with the Imam from the beginning to the end, you get the reward of praying the whole night. So you push through this challenge and you stay till the end. You've just strengthened your willpower. Every single command, every single prohibition, every single halal and haram in Islam is built to strengthen your willpower. Every command that you do, every prohibition that we have to resist and stay away from, there is a degree of difficulty embedded in it. And that's why in Usul al-Fiqh, this Sharia, these commands and prohibitions are called taklif. Taklif in its linguistic meaning means ilzam ma fihi mushaqqa. It's to assign to you things that have a degree of difficulty. Fajr has a degree of difficulty. Donating for the sake of Allah subhanahu, who wants to part from their wealth? There's a degree of difficulty. Every command and prohibition that structures your life, there's a degree of difficulty. So the whole Sharia is built to strengthen your willpower. The whole Sharia is built to make you a stronger human being, to make you a better human being. Even on how Islam looks at suffering and pain, trials and tribulations. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna Allah idha ahabba qawman ibtalahum." That when Allah loves a people, He tests them. He gives them pain. He gives them suffering. He gives them trials and tribulations. He gives them difficulties. What a concept. The atheists are saying because pain and suffering exist, there's no God. Islam is saying is because Allah loves you, you get pain and suffering. Because through this pain and suffering, when you overcome these challenges, your willpower becomes stronger. And when your willpower becomes stronger, you're able to do more commands of Allah. You're able to stay away from more prohibitions. You're able to do more good deeds because you have stronger willpower. And when you do that, وَلَا يَزَالُ عَبْدِي يَتَقَرَّبُ إِلَيَّ بِالنَّوَافِلِ حَتَّى أُحِبَّهُ. And my slave doesn't continue to do good deeds such that I continue to do good deeds until I love him even more. So Allah gives you pain and suffering because He loves you. He makes you stronger, have stronger willpower because He loves you. And then you end up doing more good deeds and He loves you again. Completely different concept than what the atheists or other religions may profess. So the idea that because pain and suffering exists in this world means there cannot be a loving God contradicts science. The idea that life would be better without commandments and prohibitions, without do's and don'ts, without the law, contradicts science and reality. But the idea that pain, suffering, calamities, difficulties, the law, commands, and prohibitions, the do's and don'ts can come from a loving God conforms to logic, science, and reality. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين فإنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده ما بعد. Some of you may be thinking and saying, wait a minute. What about the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, inna ad-dina yusrun? The deen is easy. Why all these difficulties? What about the report of Aisha radiyallahu anha wa an abiha where she said, ما خير النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بين الأمرين إلا اختار أيسرهما. Where she said that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ never had a choice of two things, to do two things, except that he chose the easier one. What about that? Yes, the deen is easy. Yes, if you have a choice to choose between two things that get you to the same goal, you choose the easier one. It's not from Islam to make your life difficult. It's not from Islam to say, I'm going to make Hajj and choose the most difficult package because I want more rewards. We don't create difficulty for ourselves. It's against the principle of the Sharia. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah subhanahu wants ease for you. He doesn't want difficulty for you. So to make things difficult for ourselves intentionally is incorrect. But if you have a choice between two things that get you to the same goal, you choose the easier one. But things that you must do and you should do, and there are no other ways except that path, and if it's difficult and you don't want to do it, that is where Islam is saying you should do it to increase your AMCC, to increase your willpower, because Islam does not encourage quitters. So you should learn the Arabic language, even if it may be difficult. You should abandon music and resist it, even if it may be difficult. By doing these things, we become better human beings. We become stronger human beings. And this is why when Aisha radiallahu anha saw the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam praying at night, his feet swollen, this was her very question. Why are you making life difficult for yourself? Why are you praying so much? Your past and future sins are already forgiven. His response basically elucidated that this is what I should do. أَفَلَا أَكُونُ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا? Should I not then be a grateful slave of Allah? I should be doing this as a grateful slave, even though it's challenging, but I'm going to overcome that, even though if my feet are swollen. And this is the secret, one of the secrets behind the verse of Allah subhanahu, where He says, إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, that with difficulty there is ease. Because through this difficulty, when you overcome this challenge, the next time you face this challenge, it's not difficult anymore. Islam is the process of taking difficult things and making them easy for you. Fajr was difficult for you when you first started. Now if you've missed Fajr, there's pain. It's the opposite. Now Fajr is something you long for. Now Fajr is something easy for you to do. So if you look at the list of difficulties of life, this is the process by which Islam converts them to ease. And now you're ready to tackle other difficulties. And in this process, your life gets better. You become a stronger human being. Your willpower increases, and your tenacity also increases. I ask Allah subhanahu Jalla wa ala to enable us to have strong willpower and to use that in His service, for His worship, and to use it to perform good deeds. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وأقيم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Alhamdulillah, we have a brother here who's willing to take Shahada. So we have Jacob here today. Jacob has had no faith, and then he wanted to find God, and in his search, he's decided to accept Islam. So we're going to say the Shahada. So to be Muslim, it's something called the Shahada. You testify. They're saying God is great, so just out of happiness. I know in the media they show it means something else, so don't get scared. Nothing's happening. And so the testimonies, you're going to testify, you're going to bear witness to God's oneness and bear witness to the Prophet Muhammad being the last and final prophet and messenger of God. By that, you become Muslim. So you can repeat after me. I testify
that there's nothing worthy of worship
except Allah. And I testify that Muhammad is his slave and his messenger. We're just going to do it in Arabic as well, just for tradition. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Welcome to Islam, brother. Assalamu alaikum. Nice to meet you. This is for you, brother.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Mike, you got to give back. Yeah,
Please make sure that you meet Jacob and welcome him to Islam, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before you go, there will be a few announcements, inshallah, regarding a few key events happening sometime soon. Firstly, we will be having our annual Wellspring dinner labeled KTA, short for Key to Awesomeness. It is the dinner that happens once in a year, which all the proceeds go and fund the Wellspring schools. Here we will be having guests including our Khatib Sheikh Shakiel Humayun, Brother Afridi Hussein, Dr. Shariza, and Brother Asad, and they will all be attending the dinner. In this dinner, we will be having segments which will include unbelievable student performances in which they have spent weeks to prepare and to practice for the event that's coming tomorrow. There will be huge announcements and updates happening at the event tomorrow, as well as a delicious 3-course buffet dinner. Now, that will intrigue everybody as to what the dinner is. You can see on the screen on the TV near you that these will have, that the dinner will have options including fresh naan, mixed kebabs, lamb mansaf, butter chicken, and we will also be having some desserts and sweets including qahwa house honeycomb, cake, Moroccan tea, and more. So if you are willing to come to the event and if you want to participate in supporting the Wellspring Schools, you can scan the QR code or visit the website thewellspringschools.org/K2A. If you want to inquire about anything or ask someone in person, there's Brother Afridi in the facility, or you can contact any of our team members, inshallah, who are presently here. Kawkab Institute has recently launched their Quran Refresh Weekly program, which will elevate your recitation. In order to elevate the recitation, the instructor, Imam Usama Kawkab, he will fix your tajweed, refine the pronunciations and any mistakes one may have, and learn the Quran with an authentic Arabic accent. If you would like to learn more, you can visit the website nycmuslimcenter.org/kawkab or scan the QR code. For brothers, this is on every Wednesday, and for sisters, it is every Thursday, both days from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. inshallah. As well as this Quran Refresh program, Kawkab Institute will also be having their QMP, their Quran memorization program. This is instructed and directed by both Sheikh Usama Kawkab and Sheikh Nuh Kawkab. And this happens every Monday to Thursday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So this program is for the kids, while the Quran Refresh Weekly program is for the adults. If you would like to learn more about both programs, you can visit the website nycmuslimcenter.org/kawkab, or you can scan the QR code as shown on the TV in front of you. Alhamdulillah, we are closing into the month of Ramadan and it is about to approach. If you would like to help out the masjid and Masjid Isa ibn Maryam, you can sponsor an iftar which will help provide over 3,000 meals made this Ramadan for the fasting believers that attend Masjid Isa ibn Maryam. And if you would like to contribute and do so, there will be the iftar which will happen every Friday and Saturday in the month of Ramadan in NYCMC. So if you would like to contribute and sponsor an iftar, you can do so at masjidisa.org/iftar, or you can scan the QR code as shown on the TV. This summer, NYCMC Tours will be hosting a trip to Turkey for a getaway. This getaway will include our tour guides, Sheikh Shakiel Humayun and Sheikh Zakaria Bakhsh, and as well as our trip coordinator, Brother Afridi Hussein. The details of this trip is not finalized yet, and we are still in the development stages in order to plan the trip. If you are interested, you can still sign on and receive early access at nycmuslimcenter.org/tours, or you can scan the QR code as shown on the screen. As per usual, we will be having our usual menu after Jum'ah if you were looking to eat outside. Our menu includes chicken curry with dal puri, Chinese-style fried chicken with fried rice, Chinese-style fried chicken with chow mein, jerk chicken, barbecue chicken, as well as some burgers and samosa. So if you would like to purchase any of these items and have a meal here at NYCMC, a free water comes with any purchase. You can go to the lower lobby once you exit, and there will be food there waiting, inshallah. Today, there will be the free open gym as per usual that NYCMC hosts every Friday. However, the sign-up is mandatory. So if you are looking to go into the facility for the open gym, you have to sign up at nycmc.net/free. For the timings, it will be separate sessions for the sisters and the brothers. The sisters will have the gym at 5 p.m. up to 6 p.m. and the brothers will have the gym from 6:10 p.m. up to 7:10 p.m. So if you would like to learn more, or if you would want to sign up, go to nycmc.net/free. And last but not lastly, we also have our masjid that is under construction and under renovation. As you can see, if you would go to the main masjid during Asr prayer, you will see for yourself there is scaffolding where the black tarp is covering the construction in progress. And as you can see on the TV screen, there is definitely work need to be done. However, NYCMC also has future pictures of what they would like the masjid to become and what progress they would like to make. So if you would like to contribute to the project and if you would want to support Masjid Isa and NYCMC in their expansion and in their renovation, you can go to nycmuslimcenter.org/expansion, or you can scan the QR code as shown on the screen. Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.